Coming Down is proudly sponsored by Colorado Ganja Gear, high-quality, artistically inspired herb grinders. So let me tell you, these things are great. I actually own one. My favorite part is the perfect consistency you get after grinding. Some grinders just pulverize your herb into dust, but the razor-sharp teeth and smooth action on these always leave you with perfect, fluffy, evenly ground herb. The craftsmanship is top-notch, made from aircraft-grade aluminum to guarantee you won't get metal shavings mixed into your herb. But the best part, truly, is each grinder features original artwork created by Colorado artist Lori Beatty. She creates unique mandalas that are laser-etched into each magnetic lid. And each grinder comes in a silk bag and has free shipping. So just go to etsy.com/shop/Colorado Ganja Gear and enter the code Coming Down in all caps for $5 off, or go to the show notes for this episode and follow the link. Thanks and enjoy the episode. Hey everybody, welcome to Coming Down. My name is Nathan. I'm here with Matthew.
Hello.
How's it going, my man?
Dude, it's going.
Hell yeah. You getting antsy for this live show?
Oh my god, so antsy.
Yeah, dude, I've sort of been like wringing my hands all weekend, just like, what else do I need to do?
Right. Oh my god, so many fucking balls to juggle. Jesus.
Yeah, and also just like the total terror of being on a stage again, which hasn't happened in a long time, and usually I get to hide behind a drum kit, and so I'm just going to be up there with a microphone. I don't know.
Yeah. I officiated a wedding this weekend, so like I'm totally cool with getting up in front of people and talking, but
yeah, totally.
You know.
And you're an actor. You're a thespian.
I'm a thespian.
Yeah, how'd the weddings go, dude?
Oh, it was great.
Hell yeah. Right on.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. Nice ceremony. Well, all that good stuff.
Can't really pat myself on the back too hard. Like,
hell yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you can.
It was beautiful. Yeah, it was great.
I assume you weren't dressed as Dolly Parton, though.
That got shut down.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Look, not everyone can handle it.
Hey, man. That's a lot of boobs, you know?
Yep.
A lot of boobs.
A lot of boobs, a lot of hair.
So much hair. And, you know, a fair amount of ass, too. I mean, like, it's the full package.
It's true, man. It's so true. Hell yeah. Well, anyway, live show. Yeah. This is the last time y'all hear about it until we do another one, or, you know, and then also air the live show. But, this is the last time we're going to, like, remind everyone and bug everyone to do it.
You should come to the live show.
You should. It's not too late to book plane tickets out of Las Vegas if you're going to the now revamped Area 51 raid.
Truth.
Dude, did you hear about that? That there's like... So the guy who started the Facebook page... So he was working with the owner of the only hotel in Rachel, Nevada to throw this big festival.
Right.
And I guess he got nervous about it turning into like a huge disaster, because it very well could.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's nothing out there. It's going to be like Burning Man, except not Burning Man.
With nothing to do, yeah.
Yeah, totally. And so he dropped out of it and was like, I don't have anything to do with this anymore, and I'm just throwing a one-night festival, like an EDM festival in Las Vegas, and so people should come to that. And he redirected the website to that and basically like tanked this other festival, except that festival is still happening, and the owner of this the owner of this motel or this hotel is still throwing that festival.
Rad.
And still charging a bunch of people for parking and camping, and they have like 30 bands booked.
Fuck it.
One of which is Boots Electric, which is the singer of Eagles of Death Metal. So like They have real bands.
Whoa.
And yeah, and there's like 12 bands from Portland going to play that thing.
Shit.
So I am really interested.
That's gonna be a lulz fest, apparently.
I just think people are gonna get fucked up there.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's gonna be like all of the drugs. Like, you could probably get some crocodile if you wanted to.
And I mean, you go to the website for the now new festival, and you know, there's a couple little blurbs on there about how there's just nothing around. Like, there's no gas within like 100 miles. There's no food or restaurants or stores within even further.
Wow.
So it's like, you know, come prepared like it's Burning Man, basically. But they're not really stressing that. It's like, just come and camp. Oh boy, yeah. So
Fire Festival Part 2.
Well,
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, the guy who originally started the Facebook page, he cited that. He's like, I don't want Firefest Part 2, and if that happens, I don't want my name associated with it.
Yeah, well, you know, There's someone with integrity.
Yeah, but then I also was reading on Reddit, some guy commented on, like, the thread that I was reading that apparently that dude got pulled by big promoters to pull out of that festival and throw the Vegas one. And so apparently there's a lot of inside baseball, like, going on, which is crazy. Like,
that's ridiculous.
Who knew that all of this would happen? Just like some stone dude was like, I'm going to start this Facebook page.
Right. That's amazing.
Again, as you've all been hearing, I just have such an affinity and love for following this whole thing. I think it's just such a product of our modern age.
Well, anytime the internet crosses over into real life, it gets weird, you know? And I mean, it's been that way for at least a decade now, where, like, sometimes memes just take on a life of their own and to stranger and stranger results, you know?
Yeah, for real. And, like, when something just becomes, you know, like, part of the zeitgeist for a minute, you know, because nothing lasts for a long time.
Oh,
so
our culture is a bunch of goldfish at this point.
Yeah, in fact, I'm wondering if anyone shows up to either of these festivals, because, like, this is old news at this point, right? This was so 2 months ago. Who gives a fuck about this Area 51 raid?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you haven't bought a ticket by now, you probably are, you know.
Yeah, for real. But for those of you who have bought tickets, you have time to make it to Portland.
So true.
For our live show.
And you should.
Once again, that live show is Saturday, the 21st at 4 p.m. at the Firkin Tavern. And it is free. Yeah, and you get to see me. Well, look, I hope to not be too hungover, but I'm going to Hot Chip the night before, too. So it's going to be a jam-packed weekend for me.
Oh, shit.
I actually sold my Area 51 camping ticket so that I could go to Hot Chip. That's not true.
I was going to say... Wow.
Yeah.
I will be working the Incubus show the night before, so anybody who wants to go see Incubus, you should probably sell your ticket and go see Hot Chip instead.
You absolutely should. That also makes me wonder if my friend Sarah's in town. Shout out, Sarah. Okay, so this week's episode is my good friend Scott, who I was in a band with. Our very first episode ever was the story that I told of while we played a show while a bar fight broke out.
Yes.
And it's classic. And so he was there for that. And actually, I feel bad that I told it without him. But look, that was, you know.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but in that episode... Oh, no, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm getting it confused with another one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So anywho, that's how we tie
No, I'm sorry. What my interjection was, I believe, correct. Didn't you also record the first episode of what you wanted to be this show that night? And was Scott not the first guest?
No, my friend Brett was the first guest. Oh,
that's right, it was Brett. Okay.
Yeah, and we recorded outside of that venue. And again, someday I'll actually get that hard drive recovered. And if I do, you'll all get to hear that long-lost first episode that never really went anywhere.
But yeah, so Scott was in the band.
Scott was in the band. We were called New York Rifles. I'll put it in the show notes. If any of our listeners haven't heard that band, honestly, we were pretty good. I liked it very much, and we toured, pretty regularly for about 3 straight years. Right when I moved to Portland, so I actually joined that band before we even got a place in Portland.
Shit.
A little short story on this, but I knew I was moving to Portland, and so I was just like popping around on Craigslist looking for jobs and opportunities, and went to the gigs page or something like that, or maybe it was just the musicians page, but there's an opening for a drummer, and I went and listened to the music and really dug it. You know, it's this kind of like proto-punk sort of stuff, and it's well, shit, dude, I can play these 4/4 beats, and it's like, and I really liked what they were doing, and so I messaged the guy who turned out to be Scott and was like, hey, I'm moving out there in a couple weeks. You know, I don't expect you to hold a spot open or anything, but if you haven't found anyone, I'd love to come out and try out. Rolled into town, hit him up, and he was like, yeah, bring your kid over. Let's do this.
Hell yeah.
And so it was like the third day I was in Portland. Went and met him at a bar, and then brought my kid over. And we just jammed out a few tunes, just me and him, and he was like, cool, you seem like a great fit. You want to play in this band? Like, shit, dude. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And
Nice.
yeah, it was, it was sweet, man. Like, it was the first band I'd ever joined. I always like started bands with my friends,
Right.
but this is the first time I ever just joined people that I didn't know. And he had a van and had already toured, and they were on a label and had albums out. So I was like joining this established thing.
Yeah.
So it was really fucking cool.
Okay.
And we had a really good time for about 3 years, and then
Right.
I digress. I won't get into why I eventually left, but I did, because touring and being a musician is hard and expensive.
No doubt. Well, and you guys are still friends, so I'm sure.
And we are still friends.
Yeah, I'm sure the terms were at least amicable.
Yeah, totally. And so I've been meaning to get him on forever, because this guy is one of my favorite people. He's the first person I met in Portland. I just love him to death. He's got the best stories, and I mean, I hope to get him on time and time again, because these are only just the most recent ones he's told me. He's got so many that I want him to tell.
Well, and that's what honestly, that was one of the things that struck me when he was telling the stories. Is like this is all in the last decade that this shit's happened to him. And I'm just like,
well, that was last year.
Oh Jesus!
The stories from this
Both
episode,
of those are from last year.
Were from like last year, or maybe like the last year and a half.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, like I assumed that like this guy's going to tell some road stories, like he's been in bands forever. No, he's just going to tell some crazy shit that happened to him last year.
Yep,
like,
totally.
Fuck.
Yeah, dude's just a catalyst for wild stuff. I mean, he's just he gets into some really interesting things. And, but yeah, anyway, I love him to death. He's so cool, and we'll get you turned loose on this episode, because I've been meaning to get him on here forever, and I'm really happy that we finally did.
Yes.
So shout out Scott, thank you, and so yeah. Live show, we already talked about that. Mm-hmm. Go to the website, comingdownpod.com. That's going to have all the links and all the details. If you go to the show notes for this week, and I'm going to get pictures from him. So there will be pictures from his travels. So there will be all sorts of goodies there. There will be all the links for the live show stuff. We're running a contest to win a cool poster straight from NASA.
Yeah.
Courtesy of guest Tara.
Featuring Telescope Chandra.
Totally. And so all you have to do is share the live show any which way you want. Honestly, at this point, like, text someone about it. Tell anyone.
Right.
Go out and, like, shout it out on a corner. And if you tell us that you did that, we'll enter you into this contest.
Yeah. So far, we've only had 3 shares, official shares on our Facebook
It's true.
page.
It's true.
Like, the field is real fucking thin.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go and, like, ring a bell, I mean, like...
As we said last week, smoke signals are a valid option.
Yeah, totally. Any way to get the word out on this, just please do it, because we'd like to have some people out for this.
Right.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. So, contest to win sweet poster, and... Also, the website. Okay, back to the website. Here we go.
Professional.
Yep. Hey, I've got no script here. So that website will also have all the links to all the other good stuff. So all the platforms which you're surely listening to currently, ways to contact us. That's Twitter @comingdownpod, Gmail, comingdownpod@gmail.com. Those are the best ways to get a hold of us if you want to be on the show, or if you just want to hit us up and talk to us about anything, please do that.
Yes.
And Patreon. If you'd like to chip in $1 at minimum, or any amount of money, we've got all sorts of goodies. We've got merchandise, and we have bonus content.
Yes.
Of which we're about... Oh, man, I've really been dragging my feet, but I'm about to put out I believe the 6th episode. Yes. And for those who don't know what it is, it's Matthew and myself, and then our frequent guest Shelby, and my wife Ricky,
our super producer.
Yeah, and we just ask hypothetical questions and discuss them. So,
yes, we do.
And boy, they're really good. I love what we do for Coming Down, but
absolutely.
This hypothetical thing is fantastic.
Dude, I think episode 5 might be some of the best content we've ever.
It really is. It really is. So if you've been sort of like thinking about chipping $1 or more, do it, because the bonus content is worth it. Trust me.
Absolutely. I mean, $1. Come on.
Right. Yeah, you can do $1, but even if you can't, we appreciate everyone who listens. We appreciate everyone who does pitch on the Patreon.
Oh, for sure.
We love all of you so very much.
Absolutely. And we would love everyone to check out this content. So,
absolutely. Yeah, I don't want anyone to miss out on it. So, I think that's it. And we're getting ready for this live show, so let's go! Yeah, I've been trying to remember other band stories, because I told that story, and then I also told the story when we got pulled over. Or you remember we had like parked off the side of the road for a minute just to like get some shut-eye, and then immediately got pulled over.
Pulled over in that pitch black area. That cop, she
was like super nervous,
and you were looking for your freaking cigarettes.
Yeah, totally.
And you're like, and there's crap all back there.
Maybe you don't need your cigarettes right now.
You don't need your cigarettes right now because you look like you're looking for a gun.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because she's like motioning.
She was so nervous, and I was like, "Yeah, I know. He's being an idiot. Sorry. Shoot him."
Yeah.
It was so funny. I get that you want a cigarette, man. We all want to stay alive.
Yeah.
Because she was just being horrible. She was like, why didn't you... I was like, I was exhausted. I was falling asleep. She said, why didn't you pull over? There's a gas station where... I'm like, I didn't know. We're on a windy dirt road, freaking highway. I don't know where we are. Yeah. And I'm falling asleep. So I thought the safest thing to do would be to pull off the road. Nate, stop looking for a gun.
Yeah.
Get your gun later, dude.
It's so funny, man.
But yeah, I was trying to remember any other like really exciting tour stories, but man, it's the thing with tours, just like a ton of driving and waiting. Yeah. Yeah. Listening to crap ass bands, waiting to take your turn, and
everybody's like, we want to go on tour, it'll be fun. No, it's not.
It's like,
it is fun. I enjoy it.
It is.
I enjoy the work, but it's work. It's like going to work with me.
Yeah.
It really is, and you don't think about it, and it's that hurry up and wait, play, wait, play. You know, and everybody's like, oh, but you get to party. It's no, you have to be there to 2:30 to get your money,
right? And
then you got to be somewhere in 8 hours.
Yeah, and it's like you kind of get to party. It's like it's not that you don't get to have some beers and like socialize with some people a little bit, but
right.
But it's not all it's cracked up to be because you're exhausted.
You're exhausted, and that's why someone like John having a space where you could go and actually settle in for a minute.
Oh man, Phoenix was always just such the joy of all of our tours. It's like, we get to go to a place to like relax, and it has a pool and
have a decent time.
Dude always buys like,
and actually do kind of go have an after hours after.
Yeah, totally. You know? Dude always buys like $200 bottles of tequila and shares that with us. And
Jesus.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, that was always nice. But yeah, a lot of the time it's just like we don't even have a place to stay. It's like we're gonna drive somewhere to a rest stop and crash out and then
take turns sleeping while someone else drives.
Shift drive.
Half the time,
rush to the next thing.
You're always moving. You're sleeping in the van. You're always moving. Every once in a while, everybody's exhausted, so you stop at a rest stop.
I always think about that too, man. That I love living on the West Coast and probably would never trade that, but touring the East Coast, where all your stops are 3 to 4 hours away.
See, I always thought it was
such long stretches out
right.
here.
I always thought in the West Coast it was better, but then you're right. There's so much more. They're clustered,
Yeah.
But those 8-10 hours to get where you're going.
Right. And it's like even California, you'd think that there are more stops, but there aren't. It's like San Diego, LA, and then nothing until Bay Area, and then nothing else. Really.
Yeah, you think well, we play all the small towns. Well, you don't play all the small towns because they don't have clubs and they don't have
You're not playing Fresno or San Jose or Sacramento or.
And there's also it does you no good.
Right.
And you can't playing anywhere unless you're going to be back there in a few months. Does you no good at all.
Right.
So you have to be back there, and so you try to get the same club that works out for you.
Yeah.
And also you are touring for 2 weeks. That means you have 2 Fridays and 2 Saturdays. Every other day is a throwaway day.
Yeah.
No kidding.
So you're playing all these other shows and hoping that you have a decent Monday, hoping that you have a decent Tuesday. Trying to get a radio show in the day to do something, but your effort is for 2 weeks and you're only playing like, let's say Thursday, Friday, Saturday, decent days.
Right.
And some towns, their best day is a Wednesday night, but you got to find that town and that club.
Right. Yeah, you don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's why local bands don't really get it. It's like, like you may have a really good Wednesday at Dante's. That's a thing for whatever reason. It's a deal. And so that as a band. But in other towns, you don't know what those days are,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, man. I wonder, bands on the East Coast must have it so much easier.
Oh, yeah. So much denser out there.
They could just hit so many more markets and not have to spend all their time driving.
But then there's the other side of it. When you do have a decent market, like in LA, there's dozens of clubs. Theoretically, you can play 5 clubs down there in 3 days. Playing a double, like play at one club early and another club late, but they don't let you do that, and all the bookers know each other.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
We did double book some stuff, and we got in trouble. They were like, because they want everybody who's going to go see you to go to their show.
I double booked in Fort Collins, and I knew it would work because I was going to be able to get all my friends out. But I still got fucking yelled at.
They'll call you out on it.
Oh, right, because they want everyone to stay in their club for the whole night.
Yes, and they want everybody, like if you're playing Friday and Saturday in LA, it's like even if there's a great distance between those clubs and it's not really affecting, they want everybody at their show, and they know the other bookers.
Yeah.
So it gets back to them.
Fuck.
Like Yep.
It's
funny.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Maybe you just hit all the open mics,
Well, remember we played 3 shows that one day because we went over in Salt Lake. We were walking around. We did the day show at
Heavy Metal.
the Heavy Metal shop. And then walked around the corner to get a beer, and we saw them setting up stuff. And I was like, do you guys do shows here? Because I wanted to see if there was a place to play. And the guy goes, yeah, we have an open mic. And I'm like, if we finish by like midnight, can we come over and play? And he was like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, we're a band. He was like, yeah, that'd be great. And we finished at Tiki Lounge.
Right.
Drove a few blocks down to this open mic and set up and played at the end of the night.
That's totally right.
We played 3 shows.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And we were exhausted.
Oh, yeah, dude.
There's no oxygen up there anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably forgot about it because the last one had to have just been like...
It was. We ran in. We carried all our gear in right after.
God, did we even
show.
play well at all?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. I asked the 2 people who were there.
That's right. There wasn't anyone there.
No.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Well, yeah, I don't know. Think about it, too, because, again, like, I've been struggling to remember if there were any more, like, super exciting stories. The bar fight was insane, but... Yeah, I don't know.
Bar fight, I don't know, there's all those little tiny... The little bits and pieces. The woman who wanted to pay for me to have sex with her.
Oh, in Billings? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She was like, how much to go home with me? How much to go home with me? And I was like... these guys were trying to sell me. They're like, we need the money. We could use the money. It's just throw out a number. I'm like, what? And I knew she had I think one of somebody who's with her said she had a boyfriend. Yeah. I was like, they were like, no, look, you can go.
Yeah. Come on, man, you got to take one for the team.
Yeah,
here.
right.
Yeah, we haven't sold any merch.
But no, we sold tons of merch. We did. And she threw money on the stage.
That's right.
She was throwing wads of money on the stage.
That's right.
And then he was like, and then she was telling everybody she knew in the bar, and she was local, to buy our merch. So we made a bunch of money.
That's true. No, because
they were also trying
that was the thing too. Because didn't she walk up to you and she was like, "How much?" And you're like, "Well, shirts are $15." And she's like, "No. Like, how much?"
Yeah. And then she kept coming up to me and going, "Just name it. Name your price. How much? Just tell me a number."
Wow.
I was like,
Well, and see, there are like little bits, but none that are like whole long stories.
Yeah,
because in Salt Lake, I had the photographer actually run up on stage between one of our songs and whisper in my ear that she was going to rip the shirt off of my body when we were done.
Wow.
It was the Dead Milkman shirt, which, like, I might do a whole episode about the Dead Milkman shirt, but...
Yeah. It is legendary.
It is. But yeah. So, yeah, like, there are little bits and wild things here and there, but...
Then the photographer wanted sweat pictures after we got off stage in LA. They were putting out a coffee table book, and they had actually some pretty big stars that they'd taken pictures of, but they wanted us right after we got done playing. They're like, okay, we want to do this, but what you have to sign off to is right when you're done, we take a portrait of you.
Whoa.
Remember that?
I don't.
Yeah, they
Wild.
took shots of all of us.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it was a tour
That's
when
cool.
Carrie was there.
Oh, okay.
That we got really good shots. That was that weird club with all the Middle Eastern stuff in the background. And
Are you sure I was
lighted
on that
really
one?
well.
Because I don't even think Carrie
Oh
toured
no, maybe
with
it
us.
wasn't you.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
Carrie
that
ever
was-
toured with us.
Yeah, that was God, what tour was that?
Well, before I was there.
remember. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
we were together the longest, so I just always kind of assume.
Yeah, totally.
As far as touring.
Yeah. Well, yeah, since the band's broken up, you've been gallivanting around the world.
Right. I now have free time.
Yeah. And money.
I had money.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
enough money to do that. Now I'm still recouping from that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so, because you went to Egypt.
Egypt, Jordan, which Amman and Wadi Musa, Barcelona, San Sebastian, and Pamplona, and then Athens and Paros.
Wild.
To Greece.
That was all in one trip?
Mm-hmm.
That's
five
cool.
weeks.
It's like
Yeah.
a bucket list right there.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
All Mediterranean. Kind of, part of it was at Barcelona. I wanted to see Gaudi stuff, and I,
Yeah,
wanted to go to Spain anyway.
Barcelona's
and then-
just great anyway.
Yeah, and then Egypt pyramids.
Hell yeah.
And Jordan was just since I was near there, I wanted to go see Petra, and
Nice.
then Greece was just Greece, and island. The Paros is an island
Yeah.
kind of vacation, but it was weird because Jordan was way more than that, and the Middle East in general, Egypt too. Just kind of fell in love. The people were amazing and really nice, and partially because the tourism's so down, probably because I was in Cairo when I was there, and I was like there for 5 days and walked all over, went everywhere, and I saw maybe 10 white people.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I was on the streets walking around, it was me and Middle Eastern or Mediterranean people.
Right.
Yeah, everybody was mainly Arabic people.
Right.
Everywhere, tons of them. No white people. There was one guy who was half white because he approached me a couple times. It was weird that I bumped into him, and he had light eyes, so I really recognized him when I saw him. He had like gray eyes. But he was kind of a scammer guy, so I knew there's several people who were like kind of chase you down, But he was kind of shady, so I took note anyway. But it was weird. It was like, wow, I am, and not only am I the only white person, I am white.
Oregon white.
I'm a redhead, man, so I am obviously a white guy. Yeah. So that was interesting. I mean, when I got on the plane, I went to Barcelona and then straight to Cairo. So I was in Barcelona I went to Pamplona and then I went to Barcelona. But my first flight out of another country when I was over there was the flight from Barcelona to Cairo. And when I got on the plane, you're in the airport and everything, you don't really notice. And it was kind of like that, talking about the Eddie Murphy skit, White Like Me, when he plays a white guy and he gets on the bus or he goes to the store and they're giving him stuff for free. Have you ever seen that one?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Oh, there's nobody here, and and when he's being a white guy and he's on the bus, and when the black people get off the bus, they open up the champagne and start having a party. I got on the plane and I'm like, okay, not really paying attention to anything. Then at some point we start to take off, and I realize everybody on the plane is brown except me, and now they're all speaking Arabic. Like there had been other like English I'd heard a bit, but now everybody's speaking Arabic. There's nothing at all,
Right.
nothing at all Anglo or English, and I'm like,
the in-flight stuff.
oh, here we are. Wow. Now I'm in a completely alien environment, and I know a little bit of Spanish, so I could get away with that. But Arabic is like, completely foreign.
Right.
And then I land in Cairo, and it's like you get off the plane, and it's like everybody's still Arabic.
Yeah.
Everybody's still, like Middle Eastern, and machine guns and shit, and you're walking around going,
Right.
oh, fuck, I need to get a cab. And, I got out of 3 cabs at the airport.
Oh, yeah?
Where I was like, yep, fuck this. Yeah.
Wait, so you hop in and then realize that, like, you don't want to be in a car with this person?
And after being there for a while, it's like, I don't think there's a whole lot of sketchiness in that world. I really don't. It was interesting, but it feels like sketchiness.
Uh-huh.
It's mainly just sketchiness and trying to get more money out of you.
Yeah.
But not as creepy as it could be in New York or something,
Right.
It was like one of those things was there's a couple of things that you don't do. You don't probably go with the guy who runs up to you and speaks really good English.
Right.
And it's like, come on, you need a cab. Hey man, hey buddy.
Yeah, stick with me.
I'm your friend.
Right.
Yeah, you don't go with that guy. I was really exhausted in Amman, and I got in at 10 p.m. and it was dark and creepy as fuck there. And there was a guy like that, but I just took it because it was like, I'm so fucking tired. And that was actually where I got out of 3 cabs. Got out of his cab, then got out of another cab, and yeah.
But that was at the airport?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wild.
Because at some point, I was in Cairo, I was at the pyramids, and I was leaving, and at that point I'd had some cab experience, and I was like, people coming up telling me how much, and one cab, I got out 7 or 8 cabs while I was there. One cab, I was driving through the middle of Cairo, and his car stalls out on him, and he pulls up, and he's go, oh no, just a minute. He pops the hood, and I'm like, nope, get out. And he's like, oh no, wait, no, I can get one right here.
Yeah, right.
I'm not waiting for you.
Yeah.
But and then another, you go up and ask them how much and whatever, and they ask you for your phone to see where they're going, and it's always like, I just handed you my $1,000 phone,
right?
Yeah, or actually it was my other older phone, so not that much, but it was still my fucking phone. It had all my stuff on it.
Yeah.
But one guy I got, it's like the Egyptian pound is 100 Egyptian pounds for $5. So I'd be haggling, and at some point realize I'm haggling over 50 cents, man.
Yeah.
But that's the culture, right?
Right. Yeah. But that's what you're paying. You get that's what you're paying, and there'd be where I was going, it should have been about 80 EP, maybe 100 EP, and so it's not. It's $5,
right? Yeah.
But I'm not even thinking that. I'm thinking 100 EP, right? And some guy pulls up, and I'm like, "How much?" He goes, "1,600 EP," and I was like, fuck you, know? And he's like, no, 1,200. I'm like, no. I just got 3 other cabs I talked to were asking for 150, and I said no. It's like, no. And he's like, no, and he kept following, and then they follow you. I'm trying to walk away, and his car is following me, and he's like, hey, no. I'm like, no. We are not even close on this. 800 EP, no. Because you're calling me stupid.
Yeah.
You're calling me a stupid tourist. Right. No, absolutely not.
He's just trolling you at that point,
Damn.
No, it's pretty funny.
Man, yeah, it's wild to be in a culture where everyone's hustling,
Yeah.
Here in America, I mean, I guess you see some of it in the big cities like New York and stuff, but it's just things cost what they cost. You pay for what it says,
Right.
You don't go to places and haggle prices with people.
Well, I don't know if it's this way there, but in a lot of those cultures where it's just normal to haggle, it's considered rude.
If you don't,
Yeah, to
right.
not at least start higher than you want,
Yeah.
Right.
Huh. Means that you don't respect that person.
Right. That was kind of like the 1,600, though, too. It was like, you're just insulting me.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So then, so this was in Egypt, the story you told me at the bar that night, right?
Yeah. This was in Cairo. And so, basically, there aren't very many bars in Cairo. There are very, very few. And most of them are attached to hotels. But there's a few that are separate. Because of, alcohol and everything, they just don't really have it. It's just becoming acceptable now.
Oh, sure.
And it's a lot more open than I had thought. And apparently has been advancing fairly rapidly. Like I saw women driving, I saw women in skirts,
Sure.
going out to party, and stuff. So it was a lot more open than I had expected, and I was treated really, really well there. But at some point I asked my hotel was a shithole, but it's weird because this is a place that had a lot of money, and through the Arab Spring, and,
right.
I mean, everything got blown up. There's a lot of places where I went to some sketchier areas because I like to do that, and there was you could see where bombs had gone off, and there'd be a car smashed into a fence. It's still not cleaned up.
Damn.
And it's a very Middle East in general. Everything's dusty and dirty, and in Cairo, it's you're walking along and there's a dead cat, and there's cars parked everywhere because they just park everywhere.
Whoa.
They don't care. So you'll have a street completely blocked off, because the cars just decided to park there.
Whoa.
And there's cars that have been sitting there forever, and it's very clustered. There's sidewalks, you don't really walk on the sidewalks because they're broken up, and it's just it's kind of a mess. But on the other side of that is there's a whole lot of wealth there, and there are some mansions.
Right.
But I would be walking down the street and try to take pictures of some of these places, and there's guardhouses, guys with machine guns. They're like, no. I'm like,
Oh.
And I made some of them laugh because come on, just one, and they're like, no. Or some guy with a suit is walking around and he looks at you and he gives you a look. Your phone comes out and he looks over at you and you just know by his look and you're like, shake your head, and he's like, he shakes his head back at you. I'm like, all right. But I got a few shots of people with guns, sitting out there and stuff. So it's kind of weird because they have these guns and everything, but nothing's going on there.
Right.
Yeah.
There, you don't get a lot of activity and terrorist activity there now.
Well, right.
At the time when I was there.
There was a big political coup there not too long ago, right? 10 years ago?
Well, that was the Arab Spring.
Okay.
Yes, that was Arab Spring. That's when all of this, it collapsed. It was a kind of independence, but now there's,
right.
Everybody, like I say, all these houses, because they were being bombed, wealthy people and stuff, and there was bombs being set, they had set up all these guard towers. All these guard posts are still there, but you don't really see anything, you don't hear on the news that the bombs are going off in Cairo.
Right.
But the tourism is still completely dropped from it. At the time I was there, there were travel warnings to where I was going, but they weren't travel warnings for Spain or Greece.
Right.
But that's where all the stuff was happening. I thought it was hilarious that it's you have travel warnings here, but there's nothing going on over here.
Right. And yet there's riots in the streets in Athens.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Massive stuff. All bombs going off all over Europe. And it's oh, wait a minute. There's the white people over there. So the tourism is, it was just funny. But anyway, so the setup being that it's you have this kind of diversity of wealth and stuff, and it's still a little edgy, my hotel was it'd never been a really nice hotel. I mean, I have a picture of I was in the hallway and I took a picture of the fire thing. And the fire thing was a dolly, wheeled dolly with a big jug of water, kind of a painted red with metal. I know it had water in it or something, and with a hose kind of thing, and it was on a dolly that you'd have to run down the hall. I was like, well, this place, I'm dead if it catches because they have one of these on every floor, but this one's a ways away from my room.
Right. They don't even have a garden hose.
And who's going to grab it to roll it down there and help me?
Yeah. Holy crap.
And
wow.
And when the first night I was in Cairo, I landed there, got to my hotel room, went up to see my room, realized that it's a terrible place, but it was cool. It was great. It had a balcony. It was on the Nile, and you could see over the city. It was amazing. Cool. But it was also, I didn't pay much for it.
Sure.
But that night or that day, I plugged in my phone because I had all the different jacks, plugins for my phone. And my phone, I picked up my phone and it was white screen. It just gone. It was gone. And I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Did that just, all my information is on here. I didn't write anything down. All my flights, everything, any way that everything's on there. And so I was like, fuck. I unplugged it and I was like, what am I doing? And I was like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm just gonna go for a walk and walk around this place I don't know. Like,
Right.
And I came back, my phone was working, but it was like panic.
Yeah.
No, that's terrifying. We
And
live
then
and
I
die
wrote-
by our phones now.
Then
and-
I double wrote down everything that was on my phone. Like, you know, I mean, I already have my sister's number, you know?
Right.
So, and also the hotel was hilarious because when I was in the airport, when I landed in Cairo, I had to exchange my money to EPs, right?
Sure.
So I was like, well, I'll get $300 in EPs, right? So I went to the exchange, and he was like, oh, it's cheaper if you get 600. There's a better deal. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be here for a while. I was going to get more anyway at some point, but I might as well, because I didn't know how much I'd spend. Turns out I only spent nothing, because
Right.
nothing costs anything there.
yeah.
So I exchanged $600, right? And I put it up there, and I've done this a bunch of times at places, and you get back money, and they brought up, he started reaching under stuff, and he started pulling out stacks of like a foot tall stacks of Egyptian pounds
Oh my
in the
God.
paper wrap, right? And he's just sliding them and to the point of like there's a brick of money like 2 feet by a foot tall. Like there's this that's like because the Egyptian pound is worth it's like 100 Egyptian pounds is $5. So just think of $6, and these were all $100 EP. No, these were all like different. I don't remember what they were, and there were differences in the currency,
Right.
but it's nothing. So
Yeah.
I just have stacks of money. I'm in the middle of a really busy airport, and I'm the only white guy for miles and miles around, and I stand out like a sore thumb anyway. And I had this little green tote bag I had, and I'm like, where did I put all this money? And I'm panicking, and I'm shoving it like a fucking bank robber, shoving these stacks of money in my bag, and then I'm walking around the airport exhausted with the whole clinging this bag and looking around saying, who saw that?
Yeah.
Who saw that? Because all they have to do is just grab this bag off of me and run, It's just like, and it's gone.
Right.
So that was insane. So then I got to my hotel room, and I'm like,
Just shove it all under the mattress.
no, yes! No, everywhere. I can't carry this everywhere. So I'm looking around the hotel room looking for places to hide my fucking money. And they had one of those little tiny refrigerators, And so I lifted that up, and basically it was an inch higher off the ground because I had a layer of money under that, and then a layer of money under my mattress, and then I was looking over doorways and stuff. And this is the reason, because I walked out on my balcony, and the balcony has a 3-foot tall wall between it and the next balcony.
Sure.
And the glass doors locked, but not really.
Oh,
like
Jesus.
nothing.
Yeah.
So all you have to do, I could go to every place on my side, because you just hop a 3-foot wall to get to the other person's place.
Right.
And there were people next to me. Like I know they were there. I didn't see them, but they had some laundry or something hanging out there. So it's like, I leave
Man.
this. You can jimmy this door, no problem.
Sure.
There's like the lock was ridiculous on it, and I was like, okay, where do I stash all my money? So anyway, yeah, that was hilarious. And then I ended up having to exchange back hundreds and hundreds of EPs because I didn't use them.
Yeah.
It was so cheap,
I bring the duffel bag full of money back in, shove it across the counter.
Right, pretty much.
Won't
Yeah.
be needing these.
Yeah. It's hilarious because you go to anyway. The bar went to this bar that was near my hotel, and it was. They told me where it was, so I go there, and I have my $10,000 in EP, or I just I didn't have. I had it in my wallet, and I'm walking out there, and I'm like, I don't know how much it's going to be. It's a bar, so it's like,
Yeah.
it might be way more expensive in getting liquor because it's hard to get.
It's if they're fewer and far between.
Right.
Too, so.
So there's a staircase. I'm going up this staircase, and there's a guy walking down, an Egyptian guy, and he's got a nice dress shirt and pants, and I said, I'm looking for her. He goes, oh yeah, you have to go to the door, ring the bell. I'm going to try, ring the bell. And it's like, oh, I have a bell to ring to get into this bar, right? And I'm in my holey jeans and my raggedy t-shirt and my Converse tennis shoes and, looking pretty road grimy. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever, it's a bar, So I go up the stairs, and I rang the bell, and this guy opens the door, and he's in a tuxedo, tuxedo basically. And opens the door, and I'm like, this is the bar? And he's like, yes. And he's kind of confused, like looking at me, and I'm a white guy. It's like, surprise. But we're here. So I go in, and and it's a really nice bar, like it's a nice wood bar, and it's a big place, and you can see that they probably have dancing at some point, and it's all, but there's not spattering of people, not very many people in there, and the back bar is all glass and mirrored, and there's and all shiny and shimmery, and it's pretty big and really pretty, but their liquor selection is nil.
Yeah.
Because it's probably hard. It's difficult to get liquor in the Middle East and everything.
Sure.
So they have like Jameson, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels. They have 4 or 5 whiskeys, and that's it. And then they have the same with gin or whatever. And so it's they have this giant back bar, but the liquor selection is pretty.
Yeah, it's all kind of sparse.
Everybody's in tuxedo. There's probably 15 people on staff, 10. There's 2 bartenders. And one of them had his jacket off and his white shirts kind of rolled up. And he had tattoos, which you don't really see. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And they're kind of rock and roll tattoos, too. So, and then there was the bussers. I mean, the bussers had tuxedos on, right? Whoa. So it was like everybody. So actually, staff was probably less at that night. It was like a Tuesday or something, So I started talking, sat down, ordered a beer and a Jameson, and talking to the bartenders. And one of the tattoos, was actually Greek, and spoke really good English, spoke Arabic, and spoke Greek, right?
Okay.
So I was chatting with him, and the other bartender was Egyptian and spoke okay, kind of broken English, super nice guy. And it was funny because the Greek guy was kind of just, I would meet him here at a bar, and he was like, yeah, where are you going? I was talking about traveling. He said, I'm going to Greece next. And he was like, oh, or I'm going to Jordan, then Greece. And he goes, where are you going to Greece? And I'm like, Athens, and then Paros. He goes, Paros. And he said, and it turns out him and his girlfriend opened a bar on Paros. What? She opened it, but he helped her open it. And he was like, you could tell he was pissed. He was like, I did the work on that bar, but it was her bar. But it's a great bar, so I'm going to tell you where it is. He said, I'm not happy about it, but I'm going to tell you where it is.
That's funny.
And then he was like, I can tell you all these other places and also some places in Athens. So he's writing stuff down, telling me all this, and we kind of hit it off. And
that's cool.
And the other guy was super nice, and he had like 8 kids, and he just got that job. And since it's such a poor area, it's like he was really wanting to hold on to the job. You could tell he was kind of a little panicky the whole time, like just the way he was like he was happy to have it and wasn't going to do anything wrong to screw it up.
Yeah.
Right.
The Greek guy on the other hand was just like, the Greek guy was like, oh, we make our own liqueurs here. You want to try one? It's just giving me like, and he was probably early 30s, younger guy, But anyway, he was great, super nice. I stayed after hours. Hanging out, talking. He was giving me liquor,
nice.
And that's where I started smoking again. I had quit for 2 years, and, and they were smoking in the bar, and they was like offering me cigarettes, and so I started.
And like, well, when in Cairo,
right, exactly. Yeah. So there was that night, and that was great. And so then I went on my merry way, and then a few days later, I was like, I want to go. I need to go grab a drink somewhere. So. The only place I know of,
right?
Probably within miles. So not much choice. So I went back there, and I guess it was Thursday or Friday, Saturday. It was a busier night. No, Thursday. That's right, because they're telling me about it. Thursday and Friday are the nights. Okay. Saturday isn't. Huh. So their Thursday and Friday is like our Friday, Saturday. So I think it was a Thursday. So I get there, I ring the bell, I walk in, it's packed. Full of people dressed to the nines.
Oh,
now,
shit.
What's the purpose of the bell?
People can't go in there.
Yeah. I mean, do they check IDs at that spot? Or?
It's to keep the squares out.
It's just to limit, to know who's coming in the door.
Okay, just kind of like one extra
like,
check.
not me. For
yeah.
one thing.
Yeah.
Like that's one part of it, not me. And it makes it more intimidating, I guess. It was like, like you say, there's a poverty level. Like
Right.
on the street where I was walking from, there were people everywhere who were just like wandering around and like street people and shit. Not really street, but it's just poor people who weren't going up to that bar.
Yeah.
But if they did, they had to go through a door and ring a bell, which they probably aren't going to.
Right.
And then if they do, you know they're there. So
Right.
I think that's it.
Yep.
Because when
Okay.
I first went there, the guy coming down the stairs, I said, he said, there's a door, you have to ring the bell. And he goes, I don't know why they do that. He was kind of like, but so anyway, they opened the door and I looked the same, t-shirt, jeans, tennis shoes, and it was like probably like a busser, or not a busser, but a mid-level guy opening the door. So he didn't stop me, and I think he actually recognized me. Because most of them did. I'd been there that night and stayed after hours and stuff, and when it was after hours too, the people who were like bussers and stuff didn't come out. It was just me and the bartenders really hanging out, So I don't even know if they were if they wanted to, you know.
Yeah.
So I walk in and it's busy and everybody's dressed up and there's music and they're dancing and everything, and I was like, okay, that's fine, and I walk up to the bar and now there's no bar stools. There's 2 bar stools that were being used by this couple at the end, and there's no bar stools, so it's fine. I'm gonna stand at the bar and I order my beer and my shot of whiskey, and the Greek guy's not there now, but the other guy, the other bartender, is there, and you can see he serves me, and you can see his kind of face is like, oh shit. I didn't know why, but it's like, oh hi, but kind of like that. I don't want to tell people I know you.
Right.
Yeah, like that feeling.
We had a good time the other night, but maybe let's not talk about that right now.
Like
I will acknowledge you, but I will not be friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he had drunken sex with me.
Yeah,
and
right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't remember you.
Yeah.
But so then I order my beer and my drink, and I'm sitting there and I see some stuff behind the bar, like there's clearly a manager guy. And this guy comes out from behind the bar, walks up to me. He has 2 guys behind him in tuxedo kind of suits, like their outfits. They aren't really bouncers, but kind of they're bigger guys.
Yeah,
Sure. But they're behind, and he's a really mealy-mouthed kind of managery guy, and he's the guy that other bartender is worried about. You can tell, 'cause he's a little jumpy around him. He's the guy who's telling you what to do, and like I say, jobs are really hard to come by, and this is probably a really good job to have.
Right.
So he looks at me. Oh, and I have to tell you, the night before when I was talking to them, I told them I was a bartender. I told them, I showed them a little video of the bartender, me bartending at a busy night or whatever, or just the bar that I work at, and so we talked bar stuff a little bit, and they knew I was a bartender. So then I'm there with my drink and everything, and the manager guy comes over to me and he says to me, excuse me, sir, excuse me. I'm like, yes. And he goes, what is your name? And I'm like, Scott. And he goes, oh, can I have your phone number? And I'm like, what? And he goes, we just do this for we need to have your phone number. Give us we need your name and phone number. I'm like,
oh,
what?
Fuck that.
And he's like, no, we do this for everyone. We just need your name and phone number.
But he's got his muscle behind him.
Right. It's like, it's totally sketchy, I'm like, what? And I'm laughing because I think it's pretty funny, actually. And I'm like, okay. And so he has a piece of paper and a pencil and pen for me to write down. So I'm like, I write down Scott Young, and I write down Scott Young. I do 503's my number, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't do my the country code or anything, right? So, because it's not how we write down numbers, right? But in Europe, they'll just write it down that way. So I didn't do a country code or anything. And he looks at me, he goes, "This is your number?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "This is your number?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, this is your number, like really confused. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm from America. I'm American. I'm from the U.S." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And he's not happy about any of this has happened. I don't know if he thought telling me, give him my number would scare me off or whatever, because I don't think they kick people out there, really, because they don't have to. So, but they don't want me there. He doesn't want me there, because I'm riffraff, and he can't quite figure out. You can tell he can't quite figure out how to do it. Right. So he walks behind the bar, and you can see some stuff going on back there, and I've got my beer and my shot, and I'm like, well, I'll stay here as long as I can. And the bartender I know, I'm looking at like, hey, can you help me? And he's looking at me like, no. I have 8 kids to feed.
Like, dude, I don't even know you.
But no. And you can see he feels bad, and he feels bad for what's about to happen,
Yeah.
So So then I see some stuff going on, and the guy comes back around the bar, and I'm like, no, here it comes. And he comes up to me, and he goes, I am so sorry, sir. I'm like, no, it's fine. He said, I am so sorry. I did not know. I'm so sorry. I'm like, what the fuck's going on, right? He's like, I'm like, no, it's okay. It's fine. He's like, no, I have to apologize. I am so sorry. I did not know. I am so sorry. You need a chair. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. And he snaps his finger at somebody, and they run off. And I'm like, no, it's fine. I can stand it. And then I look over, because he looks over, and there's a bar stool. There's crowded people, and there's a bar stool floating over the herd of dancing people, and it's going my direction. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So he comes over and he goes, no, here, have a seat. And he puts the seat down. He's like, is there anything else that you need? I'm so sorry. I did not mean to. I did not know you were a famous bartender. I'm not kidding you. I did not know you were a famous bartender.
That's
right?
so funny.
Right? And I'm like, okay. And then in my head, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Right. And then I'm like, okay, they just opened a bar. There's not very many bars here. I told them I was a bartender. I showed them a picture of a busy club, and I'm from America. So he's just thinking, we don't have bars. It's like he doesn't really know bars, probably, And it's like a thing. They've got a bartender from America there. So I guess I'm thinking that. That's great.
Amazing.
That's great. But then he's like, and do you need anything? And I'm like, no. And then he walks off, and they're back behind the thing for a bit. And then he comes back, and he's like, we make our own liqueurs here. And I'm like, great. And I'm like, I'm like, nope, can't say that I already had them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the great guy gave them to me, right? So he doesn't know I've been there after hours and drinking his freaking liqueurs or anything. So he's like, would you like to try one? And I'm like, sure. And I'm also sitting there watching these bartenders, and they're pretty good bartenders. They're crisp bartenders. Like, I sling drinks. I make a whiskey Coke quick, But they're like pouring their drinks and doing the thing. And the one that I know is like doing his thing, and like he did a mix and he poured it, and it was right to the rim. And I looked at him, I kind of gave him a like, oh yeah. And he's like, he's so happy that I'm looking at him.
You gave him a nod.
Yeah, I'm looking at him, and I liked it. And then at one point, an ice cube popped out of one. He kind of looked at me like, oh. I'm like, no, I have some of us. It's just like, but he's watching me watch him make drinks, and you can tell he's like, really wants me to my approval, right?
Yeah.
So then the manager is making these liqueurs, and he brings me one, and I take it, and I'm like, oh fuck, they think I'm somebody here. I'm like, are they gonna ask me to like go back and show them something, because I don't know what I'm doing, right? Like if they take me back there, I'm just gonna look like an idiot. I'm gonna make stuff up, right? And so I got this little shot glass, and I'm like, now what do? I have to make it look like I know what I'm doing, like. Really, in my head, I'm like, what should I do? Would it look stupid? They don't even know. I can do whatever I want. I can get up and hop on one foot and spin around. They'd think it was great. So I took it and I sniffed it a little bit. I ran it out of my nose, and then I did a little taste on it, and I was like, and then I took then I swigged it back, and I was like, and then I'm like, that is so good. That is so good. And he goes, oh, thank you. He keeps putting his hand on his heart, right? He's like, every time he says it, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it coming from you. Thank you. I'm like, coming from me. I haven't showered in 3 days, dude. Thank you so much, so much. And so this happens with like 3 or 4 shots, right? And I'm like, every time, I'm like, oh, the strawberry, the hints of strawberry are so good. And he's like, oh, thank you. I appreciate it so much. We try to do our best here, and we're blah, 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 blah. And it just keeps going off. And now I'm like, oh man, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, right.
And I gotta catch flight like the next day. So I'm drinking shots.
This is your last night there.
Yeah. And I'm like knocking back shots. I'm like, oh my God, man. And I don't want to be rude, and they're good and they're free. And so, and I'd also tipped the night before, like I had 100 AP tab, and I tipped like 100. But
nice.
But that's $5.
Yeah, exactly.
It's $10 tab, and I had Jamesons and beer and stuff, and it's like, and bought cigarettes, and so it's like, so I'm tipping like 100%, but to me it's like it's nothing, right? So there's
That's
also
a cheap
that.
night
And
out here.
before I'd done that, and then I did it again or whatever, and so anyway, that happens. I go on the rest of my trip. I fly home. I get home, and a friend of mine, Jessica, sent me because I said I'm bartending, you know, I'm back in, or she sent me something on Instagram or whatever, and it's a picture of like how to bartend with flair kind of thing, and this kind of course, and just I just thought it was funny. And there's more to that, but I'm not going to say it because I didn't even think of it. So I got this thing. So 6 months later, I'm like, I'm either telling this story or thinking about this story, and I thought of that thing Jessica sent me, and I went, oh my God. And what she sent me was a picture of a VHS tape that said bartending with flair, right? Scott Young. Bartender. Bartending with flair. So then I picked up my phone, I Googled Scott Young bartender. And it comes up, this guy has all his VHS stuff on there. It's like all these like courses on you know, like basically Tom Cruise cocktail kind of thing, you know, with like how to bartend with flair and do all this
How
stuff.
to like spin bottles.
And I look at it, it's a, you know, your basic white guy. And he could be me. You know, there's little pictures of him. It could be me. It's about the same age bracket and everything. It could be me. They Googled me at the bar. He said, that other guy told him bartender. He had my name, Scott Young, from the phone number thing. He Googled me and bartender, and it came up that I was that guy, and they thought I was that guy.
That's amazing.
That's why he said famous bartender.
Holy
and
shit.
I was like,
Oh
and this
my
is like 6
fucking
months
God.
after it happened to me, where finally put it together, like, oh my God, they thought I was that guy.
That's so funny that you just left that night and you're like, well, that was fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
right, yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, I was being treated special in a lot of places in the museum and stuff. There were like groups of 16-year-old boys who come up and they're like, "Oh, we want to take your picture." And I thought they thought I was a TV star or something, but they just want a picture of them with their American friend. And then I'd see them with a Mercedes doing the same thing. So I was just a Mercedes, you know, they could pose on like, "Oh, there's a
Here I am
Yeah.
with this
right."
thing.
So that was already happening. So it wasn't that weird. It was weird, but I was like, well, maybe
Right.
it's just
So
they
like,
don't see
special
white
treatment
people,
was
and
happening,
you know,
but that was particularly
they
interesting.
thought I was that guy. And I was like, oh my God, I wish I'd have known that because I could have worked that.
Oh my God, right?
And that scared me even more because then I thought, oh my God, that could be possible that they would ask me to come behind the bar and show them something.
Holy shit! Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
When you
Right?
got
And then you're
instructional
like-
VHS tapes.
And then you're
Right.
not spinning bottles and like
Right,
fucking
right. I just come
shakers
there
behind
like,
your back.
well, here's your rum and here's your Coke.
That guy didn't even set anything on
Do
fire.
you want
What
a
the
straw?
Get out.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, because they were showing me drinks. They were showing me like how they make this smoky old fashioned, where they actually smoke the glass with cinnamon sticks and stuff. And they were showing,
Oh, wow.
telling me this stuff and showing me these things.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, that's what it was.
That's so funny.
So I was like, man, I wish I'd have known.
Man, and they must have thought you were just cool as a cucumbber. Because
Yeah.
they're probably showing you Scott Young fucking tricks.
Right,
You know?
right. They got it off my VHS tape. I was like, wow, he didn't even break us.
Yeah, he just wasn't even fucking concerned with us smoking these cinnamon sticks and
Yep.
doing all this shit. Yeah. Holy
They
shit.
were graced
my
by a
God.
legend that night.
Right.
That's so funny. Man, they're probably telling people that story too. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And he thought that because I was like, he was showing me those liqueurs, so that I'd post it on my Instagram or post it on something, you know. So I'd be like, this bar is amazing, and you know, and actually I did post some stuff with pictures of that bar and stuff because I got pictures of those two bartenders, but you know, it was a long time later that was like, oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
Holy
Classic.
shit, man.
And if you put in Scott Young bartender, it's the whole
it's like
list
the first thing.
whole list of stuff. Yeah.
Damn.
Amazing.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is so
I
cool.
love it.
Right?
Oh.
Right?
God, that's fucking
I'm
hilarious.
so sorry. I didn't know.
Yeah. It all made
know.
sense. It was like watching the movie at the end that has the trick ending. You're like, oh, they were all dead.
Fuck, man, that's so funny.
And that's what I did the whole time afterwards. Like, oh, yeah, that's why. Oh, wait, because he said famous bartender. He told me famous bartender.
Right.
I just thought it was a lost in translation kind of thing.
Yeah,
It was
sure.
like, oh, he's a good bartender or whatever. He became
Right.
famous bartender. You know,
Right.
I don't know, man. But it was amazing.
You had no idea you were the king of VHS
Yes.
instructional videos.
Yes, Like, who knows? They may all they have is VHS over there. I might be a really big deal there.
Because you know the phrase "famous bartender," it's like I can't name one.
Right.
Oh,
like
God.
I'm sure there are in that world or whatever.
Well, when
but like,
Cocktails, the movie, that time period of like being a flair bartender was a thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I might be like Rodriguez there. You know, like I could walk in any of the 4 bars they have in Cairo, and they'd be like, "He's at our bar." Oh my God.
Yeah, for real.
No,
man.
I don't do tricks anymore.
Yeah,
I'm retired.
Oh, no, I stopped doing that. Now I'm minimalist.
Yeah,
Gin and tonic.
Yeah, that's all we do. Maybe a lime.
I wave a lime over the glass.
All right.
The aroma of lime.
This is the thing in America now. Just
Right. Yeah, just take it down a notch.
yeah.
Matter of fact, I don't even use a glass anymore. I pour gin in my mouth and take a sip of tonic.
That's it.
Fucking A, man. Can you ever even go back to that bar now?
Oh man, I do want to go back to Cairo. There's a lot of stuff to see, so I will definitely try to get there.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's called Mezcal.
Really?
No
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, it's called Mezcal, which is hilarious.
That's wild.
Like, I don't even think they had tequila there.
I was gonna say, like, they got Jack Daniels and like basic bitch kind of
Right.
shit. But
I
they got
really,
mezcal?
I can't remember, but I don't think that they had. But you know, they just picked a name that sounds tropical or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess especially if you have no idea about Spanish, like
Right.
it just sounds kind of fancy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And they have there's no Spanish theme, there's no Mexican theme, there's nothing. In fact, like I say, I can't remember, but I don't think there was any tequila there.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't, because there
That's
had
surprising.
such little stuff, you know.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want you to tell me the other story you told
Yeah.
me that last night we hung out.
So yeah, setup was I landed in Jordan late night 10 p.m. And I kind of set up how that happened because I was really tired. There's people with machine guns. Everybody in that airport was unhappy.
And this was the day after your night at the
the
Cairo Club drinking all the liqueurs and stuff.
The cab
Jesus.
ride I'm going to talk about happened a few days later, but this was the day after that. Yes, so I landed there, and it was late night, and it was weird because it really was a little heavier environment, and and I'm really tired, and it's night, and I didn't want to end up somewhere I don't know at night, and it's all Jordanian people and Bedouins and stuff, and I'm going through the airport and did the mistake of the guy running up to me who speaks very good English. Clearly I've got my backpack. Clearly I'm a tourist, and he comes running up to me and he's like, "Hey, hello, hey buddy, how are you? Do you need a cab?" And he's doing this whole thing, and I'm like, "Yeah, I do need a cab, and I have to go outside to find someone." Like in like Barcelona, there's a big sign that says taxis, and you go down there, or and you just they're set up. But in Jordan, in Amman, there was nothing. You're like on your own.
Wow.
Of course, there's cab drivers out there, but you don't know. And also in like the Middle East, there's nothing to distinguish a cab from a car.
Right.
Some of them will put black and white checkers on their car, but it's still just their car.
Right.
There's no necessarily a company.
Right.
They're just everybody's doing this, right? It's like like anarchist Lyft.
Yeah,
right.
They've had that cloud source for a long time.
Yes.
Like there's no app, there's no dispatcher. Just like
there's nothing. It's just a guy who's woke up and said, "I'm going to go try to make some money."
Right. I'm gonna get some people some rides. I'm gonna haggle with them.
So that guy ran up to me and he seemed nice enough, whatever. It was just like, I know he's trying to sell me a pitch and everything, and that's fine. But I walk outside and it's night, and it's like there's a parking lot. He's like, so I say I'll take a ride with him. So we're walking through the parking lot, and it's not right outside. You pick up cabs right outside the airport. Well, we're going through the parking lot to his car. Get to his car. It's just a car. It's a nice car, but it's just a car. There's nothing on it indicates anything. I'm like, well, whatever. Throw my bag in his trunk. Get in the car. And there's no meters or anything really. And I'm asking him how much, and he's kind of avoiding telling me how much. I'm like, look, before we do anything, I need to know how much, And finally he says, I think there's 50. What were we using there? Jordanian dollars. So it was 50, and that's a lot because Jordanian dollars actually we're talking about $100 there.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, no, yeah. And he's like, no, that's what it's going to cost. It's, anywhere else it's going to be 60 for somebody else or 70. I'm like, and I don't know. I haven't ridden around there yet. I don't know. So, but he's being, well, no, actually he didn't tell me. He kept avoiding it and talking to me and doing the chat and doing the talk. And so we're driving already, and I'm like, I don't know how much this guy's going to be charging me,
Right. Yeah.
So then we're getting to where the gate is and it's slowing down. I'm like, no, man, I need to know how much it is before we leave, and we're already driving. And then finally I'm like, all right, this is making me uncomfortable. I'm out of here. And I went to open the door, and he locked it.
Oh,
He locked the door. And I'm like, and we'd slow down enough. I'm like, oh, no. No, unlock the free. I'm out of this car one way or another.
Yeah,
right.
Unlock the door. I'm out. He goes, oh, no, I'll drive you back. Well, and he drives me back to the same space he was. And I'm like, how much? And he tells me how much. And already I'm like sketched out by this guy. And I'm like, nope, that's too much. I need a cab with a meter.
Yeah.
I need something with a meter. And he's like, no, it's like, nobody has those. I'm like, somebody has those. I need some. So then he sees there's a cab right there with a metered cab, right? And so we stop, and that thing's beat to hell. I don't even know that was actually a cab company. I think that was just that guy's, purchased an old cab, right?
His third-hand cab.
So he's a really large man in the front seat of this car, and and the guy goes over and is speaking to him in Arabic, and they're talking back and forth, and it's a little weird. Like he's telling, I feel like they all know each other. He knows this guy sort of or whatever, and so then. But it's sketchy, right?
Yeah.
Something's not being said. Something's said. I said, get my bag out of the trunk. So he gets it out, and I throw it in the cab trunk, but they don't close the hood. I get in the cab, and he said, see, it has a meter. It's going to cost you $60 from him. And the guy's like, and I'm like, what's it going to cost? And the guy's not saying anything. And he's been intimidated a little bit. You can tell. He's like, it's no, I don't know, whatever. And so the other guy's still talking his game to that guy in Arabic.
Right.
So I'm like... And then that guy reaches over and touches me on the leg. He goes, right? And also in the Middle East, like touching a man on the leg or anything, it's very, very, they're very touchy, and it means nothing. It's very, that'll come into play later on in the story. But he kind of puts his hand on my leg quietly and tells me to, because he's in the dealing with this guy. He's sort of stealing this guy's fare, and so there's something going on here.
Right.
And there's a power play, and the guy that had first got me in his cab is definitely above this guy in the power play of whatever the cabbie thing is in this place, right?
Sure, like maybe he's mob or like some kind of organized crime.
Right.
The other guy's just some like.
So he's using the other guy
cabbie.
to say, "Oh, it's going to cost me more. Get him back in my car." And so then I'm like. I don't even what the hell is going on here? So then I'm like, all right, I'm done with both of y'all.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, done. And they're both going, no. And I'm like, nope, done. Get out, grab my bag. And they hadn't even closed the trunk. That was one of the things where it's like I wasn't, the other guy was. And then the guy's following me. I mean, no, I'm done. I'm done. So I walk over and I'm looking for, I don't know who's what, and I need a freaking ride, So I walk over, there's a group of men standing there, and they all have on like black pants and kind of similar blue shirts. Not a uniform, but they've all tried to wear about the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm like, you guys cab? And they're like, yeah, they're all cab drivers. Some of them speak English, some of them don't, So I give them the address, which I hadn't used my translator and translated to Arabic. But I figured they could do that on their phone or whatever. I just kind of I just was tired and didn't do it. And I also hadn't traveled in the Middle East yet. So I really hadn't. In Cairo, it wasn't such a big deal. Mm-hmm. But I did it there. I just didn't have time. Didn't do it. Anyway, I had that address, and then they couldn't figure out any of that. They were trying to figure it out. And then they had the address in their hand, and I didn't actually have it. I was looking and there's a lot of arguing and stuff going on and discussion on where this is and stuff, and one of them thinks he knows where it is, and then I'm trying to decipher in Arabic what they're saying, and I'm saying, what are they talking about, to the guy who can speak English a little bit, and there's this whole thing going on. And then later on, as time goes on, I figure out that's what goes on in the middle, in at least in Jordan, with everybody. They take forever to decide something.
Really?
Yes,
They
it's
argue
like
about
everything. It doesn't matter what it is. It takes forever. Just where you are going to go smoke this hashish, right? I was driving on a car once, and it's like, oh my God, we've been driving all over this town, and it took me a while to figure out, they're just trying to figure out the best place to park. And then park somewhere and then drive somewhere else, discuss it for a while there, and then go drive somewhere. It's like, what is going on? Anyway.
Wow.
So anyway, I'm talking to this.
That would drive me fucking insane.
Yeah. So
Burn this shit. Let's get out of here.
There's a lot of discussion for everything. So then one of them says he's going to take me. So it's like, okay. And he's a really big guy. He's like 6'4", 6'5", 50-something. But he's nice, and he's gets in the car with me. And I'm like, how much is it? And it was like going to be, I think, 30. It was a lot less than the other one, right? So I was like, okay. And as he's driving me there, we're going through some sketchy areas. He was like, oh, this is the Bedouin, or, it's like, and there's a separation there of Bedouin, Jordanian.
Sure.
The Jordanians think the Bedouins are trash, and it's just this weird. They have their thing,
Right.
And so there's these areas, and they're almost like adobe-looking places with black windows. It's really spooky and weird, And you're driving through, and it's like, man, he could drop me off here, and I would stick out like I don't know why. And there's nobody walking around. It's completely dead. The streets are completely dead. There's barely any lighting, and it's like creepy. Like, I am really out of my element, right?
Yeah.
So we're driving, at some point, we're through these weird areas, and it's like going through these weird areas that seem like side streets. They're like, why would you be taking this if we're going into downtown Herman? What's going on?
Right.
But it was okay. And then I said, yeah, I'm going to be going to Wadi Musa. I'm going to need a cab there. And he was like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. What? And he goes, well, maybe I could take you. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Would your rate be for that? And he's like, 120. It's going to cost me some money. But also, my main thing there was to be like, okay, I'm going to give him bait for the 2 days from now.
Right.
So that he isn't going to fucking do something sketchy and drop me off anywhere.
There you go.
He's going to think he's going to get more money out of me, so
there
we got a deal, right?
Yeah.
So that was my whole plan.
That's smart.
Right.
Yeah,
right. So we got to where my hotel place was, also another kind of dump, but we get up to it, and now there's a few people out, and we get up to this, like, he's like, it's right up the hill, and there's a truck in the way with these guys stealing stuff. I don't know what they're doing. But they got this truck, and they're out there loading stuff and doing things, and it's the middle of the night, and we pull up, and he's kind of suggesting I'm going to walk up this hill. I'm like, no, you're going to drive me to the...
Yeah,
like, no,
get me to the doorstep.
No, man, I don't... there's got to be another way around here. It's like... and because it's a walk up to this place, and I don't know where the hell I am. And there's no addresses. Things are different,
Yeah.
Right.
So then he goes out, talks to guys in the truck, makes them move it, and then we go up this hill, and it's a little tiny hill, and we get to the place, and I never would have found it, right?
Yeah.
So we get there, all done. Get in there. He says, 2 days, I'll be back in, at this time. I'm like, okay.
Huh.
To take me to the place. And so everything seems good. And so he actually called and checked on it like a day before or whatever. And so it's like, okay, we got a deal. And it was a little more than I wanted to pay, but I already met the guy and was feeling...
Hey, man,
Right.
pay someone you can trust.
Yeah.
He got you one ride.
Right. So he picks me up. I'd spent a couple days in Amman, and then he picks me up, and we're going, and he stops to get coffee. He's like, do you want coffee? And I'm like, oh, God, do I want coffee? So he stops at the stand, and he knows the guy, and he's talking to him, and he brings in me this coffee, and he's like, do you want, I said cream or something like that, and I didn't want sugar. Bad mistake. Okay, so he gives me.
I was going to say,
he gives me the
it's
coffee.
probably Turkish coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and I'd had I'd had a lot of different coffees traveling and stuff, and I'd also had I'll do the Nescafe and stuff, but oh my God, talk about bitter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love bitter coffee, but I took a sip of this. It was like.
Well, it's mostly grounds with a little bit of coffee in between them.
Yes, it's not. It's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
right? And so he had that. He had brought some fruit with us,
Turkish
and like fruit that I'd never had before, and which was interesting. He said, brought that because it's a pretty long drive, and I tried that, and he's super nice, and he's talking about stuff, and we're driving, and his English isn't very good, but it's getting by or whatever. So then as we're driving, he's saying, oh, Scott, do you know the Dead Sea? I'm like, yeah. And it's like, you can swim in the Dead Sea. I'm like, yeah. And the products from I'm like, yeah, it's great. But, and he said, you should, go by. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't know if I have time. I'm going to Wadi Musa, and I don't know if I'll have time. Oh, but you should go. I'm like, yeah. At some point.
Yeah, sounds great, but yeah.
Driving along, and, another half hour in the car, whatever. He said, but the products, Dead Sea products, and I'm like, yeah, it keeps Dead Sea products, and it keeps going and going. And then he's like, and he says, for your skin, your hair, and then he's touching my arm, and he's going, for your hair on your hair, hair on your hair, for Dead Sea, the salt, the Dead Sea, and that's why it's like I was pointing out the touching.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like thinking, hair on my arm is fine. How much?
I don't need treatment for it.
How much treatment do you need? Right. Later on, I probably didn't want to touch my hair. So he's showing me what he's trying to say because it's English, But he's touched my leg or whatever, and it's not unusual. It's like, not unusual in that way of like hitting on me or something. It was definitely like, okay, this is just culturally different. But he keeps doing it with my hand. He's like, your skin, and I'm like, okay, let's get off the fucking Dead Sea, dude. And he's talking about Dead Sea this, right?
Uh-oh.
So I had Googled where I was going and stuff on my MapQuest and stuff, and to check what roads and everything. And he actually had Wi-Fi in his cab. But so then at some point I checked, and there were two ways to go. There's the Dead Sea Road and the King's Road, and I wanted to be on the King's Road because it's like half hour shorter, or more, an hour shorter. It's just like and I was like, we're on the Dead Sea Road, dude. And he's like, oh yeah, no, I didn't know yet. I figured we're on the King's Road, right? Because I told him that's where I want to get there as quick as possible. So then at some point he goes, the Dead Sea is and we're at the Dead Sea. And I'm like,
oh, shit.
I'm like, I look at my phone. I'm like, we're on the Dead Sea. I was like, then we're on the Dead Sea Road. He said, well, yeah. I was like, we need to be on the King's Road. This is going to take us longer. He said, no, but the Dead Sea is beautiful. I'm like, yeah, but I wanted to go to Wadi Musa and I want to get there.
Like, I'm not
because we're talking
swimming,
about a 4-hour drive, right? So then it's like, okay, let it go. This will be I'll get to see the Dead Sea.
There you go.
It'll be a prettier drive.
Yeah. And
that means we're right on the other side of Syria is on the other side. It's like it's pretty interesting area.
Sure.
And it's desert and it's beautiful. So at the Dead Sea, okay, fine. All right, well, I'll live with this. So we're driving, and then he's like, oh, shorts. Do you have shorts? Do you can swim in the Dead Sea? Like he's asking swim trunks. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want. No, yes. At some point, I don't have any with me.
Yeah.
At some point, I'll maybe go to the Dead Sea. He's like, yes, but you can swim. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And people do it for like, I'm like, yeah, I know. It's salty and you float. Okay, but no. So he's talking, and products, and I'm like,
fuck your products, dude.
So then we go. He goes, oh, we had to stop and pee. So we got out and peed, and then had a cigarette.
Would you like to see the gift shop?
Right? No. Yes.
What? Oh God damn it!
Yes. No, because then we're driving, and he pulls into this place. It's out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing out there, and it's this big like warehouse with a glass door. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna have a cigarette, or whatever. And I get out, and he's like, oh, come on, come inside, And I walk through the door. And doors open, glass doors, and there's like this Middle Eastern guy walking towards us.
Dead Sea
and he's
Products
like,
Inc.
He's like, hey,
oh, fuck.
Yes, no, Dead Sea Products. They had carpets and they had carpets and everything, but he's like, Dead Sea Products over, they had all the salt and the shampoos and all this stuff. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, also while we're going,
you got like time shared,
right? While we're going, he's got his iPhone, his regular like Android or iPhone phone, but he also has a flip phone. And he's using both as we're driving. And I'd seen a little bit of this. So he's got one phone and a flip phone.
And a burner.
A burner, right? So that, I paid notice that. And actually, I had got on my phone and brought up my translator at some point to see if I could catch what he was saying.
Right.
But I couldn't catch it. And I was sitting right next to him. So it was kind of like,
Yeah.
So we got to this place. I'd already got kind of like, vibes beforehand. We get to this place. The guy comes, we walk in. The guy's like, oh, hello. And it's like, he already knows about me. This guy already knows about me. He knows that I'm the guy who's looking for Dead Sea products.
God damn it.
Fuck. Right? So he talked to him on the phone. So I'm like, this might be a relative. I don't know. There's some kickback probably for bringing people there. But right now I'm pissed. So I'm like, oh, no, I'm out of here. And I turn around and walk out the door. And he's still in there. I'm like, no. And I walk out the door, light up a cigarette. I'm like, I'm having a cigarette. We're getting back in this fucking car and we're going to Wadi Musa like I want to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So he comes out and says, no. I'm like, no. Wadi Musa. We're already on a road that's taking us longer. That's where I'm going. Let's go. So And now he knows I'm irritated. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no. So I was irritated.
Yeah.
You know how I get.
As you should be.
So get in the car. And so then we're driving, and I have my backpack in the trunk, but I also have my little green bag with my cash and some water and stuff in there. Yeah, not the huge amounts of cash. We're in a different country, so I don't have the wads. But it is in my wallet in there. I have it in a couple of places. So I don't like leaving that in the cab. So we're driving along, and we're like, we go down this other road, and he's like, no, this is, I'm like, where are we going? Because I've already looked at my GPS and saw that we're on a different road, that different road that I want to be. I let that off as just a mistake. He was saying Dead Sea, thought I said, yes, I would like to go to the Dead Sea. Although I didn't believe that, but I was like, okay.
Sure.
So then we pull into the spot where there's some other cars and people, and there's a little thing, and it's where you go to swim in the Dead Sea.
Fuck.
No. First, prior to that, he said, oh, there's a spot where you can swim for free, at the Dead Sea, free. And we pulled down this road, and then there was these cement barriers, the ones on the highway and stuff that you put there.
Right.
He said, they must have closed it off. They closed it off. You can't go down there. And it's like, these barriers have been here for 50 years, because I could tell by looking at them. There's weeds and trees going through them. It's like, so I was like, what's going on? So then we get to the place where you can swim, but you have to pay. Right? So we're in the spot where he'd take me there first with this scam of like, we could do it for free to get me to say I would do it. And also, I am kind of thinking, you want me to see me in my swim trunks? What is up here, man?
Yeah.
We're
Dude
out in the
really
middle
wants
of
you in
nowhere,
the Dead Sea.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then we get to the place where it's a pay place, and I see that right away. It's just a building, and there's cars, and there's people, going down there. I'm like, and now I'm pissed. I'm like, no, get back on the highway. Dude, get out of this line, because now we're in a line of cars.
No.
Right.
Like, get out of this line. Oh, I can't. No, you can. Get out of this line. I don't care what you have to do. Get us back on the highway. We're going to Wadi Musa. Do it now. I am not happy about this. And then we get on there, we get out there, and I'm like, no more of this. No more stopping. We're going to Wadi Musa. Keep going straight away. Nothing else. Yes, I'm sorry. You're not sorry.
No shit.
Right.
This is his plan the whole fucking time.
I'm paying you enough money.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you already said it was more than you expected to pay.
Right. So then we're driving. We have to stop at a gas station. Okay, we have to stop at a gas station. Stop at a gas station. He's actually pumping gas, so it's not a scam. I take my little green bag to go to the bathroom, so I go pee, and I come out from the bathroom, and I see him talking to this other middle-aged guy, just kind of like, could be anybody at a gas station, like, hey, where are you going? What are you doing? But they're talking a little bit, and then the other guy goes off, and then we get into the car, and we drive off. So we're driving, and I'm pissed. I'm like... And I'm watching it like a hawk, and he keeps getting on his flip phone, he's talking to somebody and then hanging up and then talking, and this has been going on for a while. I'm like, how many of these fucking people do you know? Because we're 2 hours, 3 hours out of freaking Oman, So then I look in the rear view, on my side rear view, and there's a car behind us, and there's nothing out here. We're in the middle of the desert. There's no cars. Don't see any coming this way or any this way. So there's a car in the mirror, so I'm kind of like... And I just had a gut feeling.
Yeah.
He knows that guy. Huh. So he'd be on the phone, and look at this car, and it'd be back ways, and it'd be closer, and it'd be back ways. And then at some point it passes us, and I kind of see him glance over, and he's on his phone. And I'm like, he knows this guy. He knows this car. So it gets in front of us, and we're behind it, and I'm like, so what is up here? And then we pass it, it slows down, and it's behind us again. I'm like, he knows this guy, and now we're being followed. And this guy that I am in the cab with is pretty big, but now there's at least 2 people, maybe more, and I'm out in the middle of the fucking desert.
Right.
Well, and they probably passed you so that driver could get a look at you.
Right.
Or something.
I don't know.
That.
But yes, it's going through my head of like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
And we're out in the middle of nowhere. So then I look at my phone. He has that Wi-Fi, so I kind of craftily look at my phone, my GPS, and it's like, we're way past the turn point for Wadi Musa.
No.
We're a ways past where you would turn up, or at least what it says on that map.
Uh-huh.
Right? So I'm like, by my calculations, we should have turned, taken a left off of this highway by now, and we didn't. So now I'm like, we're being followed by someone he knows, and we're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. I don't know where I am, and we're not going to the place that I was supposed to be going, right? And he'd already done the pull over the different spots and everything, so I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, well, I gotta pee. And then pull over, I gotta pee. And he's like, oh, okay, and he pulls over. I get out, I grab my green bag with my money in it.
Yeah.
I hop out, and I'm like, and I immediately start yelling. Because I hop out, and the guy's in the cab, and I was like, and that other car pulls over.
Oh, no.
It was in front of us at that point, and it pulls over. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? And the guy's like, what? No, he gets out of the cab, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? Why are we fucking being followed? Who the fuck is that? And he's like, what? I don't know. I'm like, we're being followed by this guy. You know who this guy is. I don't know. You know who this guy is. Why is he pulled over? Why is he back and forth? Why are you on your fucking phone? Who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Why are we out in the middle of nowhere? What the fuck? You know? And this guy's, now that guy is out of his car walking towards us. So it's like, clearly,
God damn.
you know, so he comes over. He speaks pretty good English. This guy doesn't. But he's saying, oh, no, I don't know him. I'm like, yes, you do fucking know him. He's like, what's wrong? I'm supposed to be in Wadi Musa like an hour ago. We passed where I was supposed to turn. Where the fuck am I here? And the guy's like, what is he trying to get the guy to speak in Arabic? Why I'm upset. You know, they're talking together. But they clearly maybe don't know each other from the past, but they know each other from that gas station. Because it was the guy from the gas station.
Absolutely.
So I don't know what's going on. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm looking around for rocks, like a big enough rock to knock one of them out. So I only have one to deal with. No, really. I'm like, I've got my bag. My backpack's in his car. I'm like, open your trunk. I need my fucking backpack now. Get it out. Well, we'll take you. I'll take you. No. I don't know what the fuck's going on. You keep stopping. Now there's this guy. Now there are two of you. I'm out in the middle of fucking nowhere. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. I'm dropping the F word a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm screaming. And I'm mad. I'm not even scared. I'm mad.
Yeah.
In my brain, this is how I kind of get anyway, in those kind of, where it's like, run? Desert? No.
Yeah.
No.
Fight? There are no
Yeah.
cars. I need to knock one of them out. Yeah, that was my thought. I need to knock one of them out, and then I'll have one to deal with. And and the other guy was shorter than me, but a bulkier guy. This guy was pretty big, so I am sizing him up and everything. And I'm like, whoa, Jesus Christ! So then,
Why am I in this situation right now?
So then I'm yelling at him, and the guy's like, "What is wrong?" And I grab a big stick, and there's sand, and I'm like, "This is what's wrong. This is the road we're on. This is the Dead Sea Road. This is the road to Wadi Musa. This is where we are." I drew a line out. This is where we're at. Why the fuck are we here? Why are we here? Why are we not up on heading towards Wadi Musa? Why the fuck are we here? And then he says something to the other guy, and then he's like, okay, look, I can get you. The new guy says to me, I can get you to Wadi Musa in 40 minutes. Because then I'm like, I'm calling police, man. You know?
Yeah.
And they were like, no. I'm like, and I don't even know if I have fucking.
I was gonna say,
right.
Like, police! You know? And they're Arabic, so they don't know what I'm yelling. You know, like, right? So, so I'm like, oh god. So,
is it even 911 in Georgia?
No, I don't know what it is.
Right?
Dude, I don't even know.
Be, right?
I don't know. And out there, you know, like 5 days later, they show up and find my body. But
well, no, this is the worst, too, because you are in the middle of nowhere. You can't just get your bag and be like, I'll walk.
Right. And it's sweltering hot.
Yeah,
you know, it's like I have nothing. I have nothing here. There's no cars going by.
Right.
There's nothing. Even the gas station is miles and miles and miles past. There's nothing. And so I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, man. You know, but
I'm going to yell at these guys a lot.
I'm going to say fuck a whole lot. And maybe that will work. And it did. But so that the other guy with the other car is like, man, he's like, okay, I can get. I'm like, why the fuck would I get in your car? I don't know you. He's like, well, he can. I'm not getting in his fucking car, you know. And so then the guy in the other car, finally he's like, look, I know, I understand you're upset, but I will get you there in 40 minutes. I will get you there in 40 minutes. I talked to him, and blah, blah, and it's like, we can. He doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know how. He hasn't done this drive. I drive this drive from Amman all the time. I take people. I'm a cab driver. I do this. He doesn't know. So it is possible he asked him at the gas station, and that guy was going to lead him there. But we were still past the turnoff that I had seen.
Sure.
It was still something really odd about it.
Sure.
Why wouldn't they tell me that, right? So it was still... That might have been the transaction, but I wasn't sure. And at this point, I'm just pissed. So
it's a huge gap. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I don't really have any options, so I'll give this other guy a shot. I said, okay. And they goes, okay, all you have to do is, it was like 120, we're halfway there or whatever. He said, pay him 60. And I'm like, because he got me 60 EP, or 60 JDs there, right? I'm like, I'm not paying him shit. I'm not paying him anything. Nothing. He stopped all the way. I'm on the wrong fucking road, and now I'm out in the middle of fucking desert yelling at you. No, I'm not paying him anything. And then I'm thinking, in my head, it's kind of a Homer Simpson thing. Like there's a bubble saying, "Just pay him, Scott. Just pay him." Right. But the takeover one is, I'm not paying him shit.
Right.
Fuck that guy. Fuck him. I'm not paying him.
You're so mad too, and it's just like, no. On principle.
And, if they went, well, then we will kill you. Because you can have all of my money if you kill me.
Or if they were just like, cool, we'll both leave, which also maybe effectively kills you.
Right. Yeah. So, but I was screaming, I'm not fucking paying him. Yeah. And I wasn't going to fucking pay him. So the other cab driver takes out his wallet, pulls out pulls out the half, and goes, I pay him, you pay me all of it when we get to Wadi Musa.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, and that's what he did. He gave him the 60
That's amazing.
JD, and then I was supposed to pay him the 120 when he got there. Yes, he did. He did that.
Wow.
So then I get in the car with him, and I'm like, I'm fuming, and I'm also still looking for a giant rock to hit him with. I'm like, I don't have anything, man. I have my metal belt, which is part of my traveling thing. I have very little things because you can't travel with a knife or whatever. So I'm like, what can I fucking hit him with? But so he starts driving. He's trying to be funny and like, oh hey, how was your day? Like, well, you saw some of it. So far, this part of my day sucks.
Yeah.
I should have been there an hour ago. So
your small talk effort is not working.
Right. So then we're driving, and he's like, "Look, it's very beautiful. We can stop, and you can." I'm like, "I am not stopping anywhere." And it really was a beautiful drive up in the mountains. It was like just like these cliffs off the edge. It was just like nothing, but it was also there's nobody out here, man.
Yeah.
Nobody. I'm just waiting to turn a corner, and there's a truckload of guys with machine guns.
Sure.
Like I'm just waiting for that. So he gets me to Wadi Musa finally, and my the host I was staying at Airbnb, and it was this guy Mohammed, and he was super nice. But then they had a little discussion, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude, you guys all know each other." And he said to him, I don't know what he said, but I could tell that Mohammed was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." I think he'd said, "Look, he's kind of pissed."
Yeah. Watch out for this guy.
Because we were trying to do the thing where we get more money on everybody, and he threw a fit. Right? Just telling you right now.
Yeah, this dude didn't fall for this one. So
right. So then
take to the tourist treatment kindly.
Yeah, right. And then I had a great time there, but on the way back, I had another cab thing where I got another cab driver that I met that was doing it real fucking cheap. Got me back to Amman for like 40.
Like this is the guy who's like, man, fuck all these like tourist trap motherfuckers. But I'm the guy.
But he's the one. He did the deal with me. Another guy came to pick me up. And I was like, "You're not the guy who did." He goes, "No, but that's we have a thing."
He's like, "I don't do the driving."
Wait, but guess what? Guess what? On the way back, there was a girl I'd met in Wadi Musa who was also going, and she came with us, and Karina, and but on the way back, stopped at the same goddamn Dead Sea salt place. Warehouse.
Dead Sea products.
Yes. No. He hadn't been talking about a super nice guy, a Jordanian guy that we had a great conversation because she was Chinese, and we actually had a great political conversation about stuff in the world. Cool. And it was great. But he stopped at the same goddamn place pulled in and said, "Oh, do you want to go in and watch?" So they definitely, every
Holy
cab driver
shit.
has a deal with that place.
Yeah, that place just has
yeah,
a standing
there must be a
offer to
commission.
drag people in there.
Yeah.
If someone comes in the door and buys
Yeah.
something, then you get a fucking
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Some
wild,
sort of kickback.
man.
yeah, like
And I think that goes on a lot there, and it's part of the deal. And
Yeah.
even the people who live there know that that's the deal. You know, like the family may work there or whatever. You know, who knows what the deal.
Right.
But it really was. It happened a lot, and I got a little more used to it. But it was like, stop it! I want to be where I said to go.
Stop hustling me, like,
Yeah,
man, I'm
exactly.
not falling for it.
Like, I'll pay you more as long as you don't fucking hustle me.
Mohammed, the host that I was with, we went out, we smoked hash, and we went all over the place, and he was awesome. And he was like, at some point, he's like, "You are like a brother," you know. We were sitting in his house, and we were smoking hash and sitting with like 4 of his friends. And it's late night. We'd been cruising all over, and that's another awesome story. But
Hell yeah.
But we're sitting there watching a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that I've actually never seen before. Like, what is this in Arabic? And they're making fun. They're making Arnold Schwarzenegger accents in Arabic with each other. And then Mohammed would lean over and go, "This is what they're saying," you know, and tell me what the joke was. But even there, at some point, one of his friends came out and he goes, "Oh yeah, when I go wandering through the desert, I found these coins." And he's like, his friend starts to show me these coins, old ancient coins that he'd found. And Mohammed goes, no, put that away. Because he was trying to scam me. He's like, this is not. This is not. This is a brother.
Like bullshit.
This is a brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'd shut his friend down. His friend was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like that. So I was like, okay, you know, like everybody's trying to make a buck. So I was like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so fascinating. What a different culture.
Yeah,
Right?
it was interesting. It was really cool. But
God.
people were super. That's kind of a weird story, but ultimately, people were super, super nice. Really, really, really sweet to me,
Yeah.
and very similar. You know, like we were drinking Iraq, and you know, it's like it's more like the Muslim kind of thing. It's like it's more like Christians here, where they don't go to church and they drink and they have sex.
Right.
It's really very similar there. You hear about fundamentalists that are like fundamentalist Christians here. You hear about that side of it. You don't hear about the everyday of it.
Oh, yeah.
Just the regular folks.
and-
yeah.
And even all that cab driver stuff, it sounds really sketchy, but honestly, it's like you think of like being in Chicago or New York in a bad neighborhood and it's like rough people and scary stuff. These guys, they may have wanted to get money from me, but like then they were all apologetic. I never felt like there was somebody who was going to hit me for anything.
Right.
Or hurt
Because
me.
they were going
for
to try to
anything.
argue you
Right.
or plead
I
you
really
into
felt-
paying too much money.
And my instincts are pretty good. I really felt very, very safe. I was sketched out in the middle of the desert, but it was mainly the middle of the desert thing. And I did wonder if they could kill me out here. But I never got that really hard edge of stuff. It was kind of like almost like small town criminals who are like,
Right.
they're not really going to do anything bad, but they're going to try to get something out of you.
Yeah.
They're not going to stab you for
Right.
sure.
They had a
you
really
know?
weak hustle. But they
Yeah,
were
so it was
definitely
really interesting.
Well, I think the scariest part of that story is, again, just the cultural gap. Because it's like,
Yeah.
you're not used to being treated like that. You know, you're not
Right.
used to someone sort of... Yeah, and you don't know what's going on. You don't speak the language. You don't
Right.
know where you are. So it's just like all kind of the unknown factor is
Yeah.
what makes it scary. You
Yeah.
know?
Right.
So...
Well, and there's a lot more cultural anarchy there too. You know, where like you were saying, it's like just somebody owns a car, so
Right.
that makes them a cabbie.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that would never fly
Yeah.
in the Western world.
Yeah.
You know, like you,
Well, you can't. There's regulations and
Exactly.
shit, man. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
you
It's
literally can't
exactly
do that.
like that.
So
if you want to have a coffee shop, you just put up a coffee stand,
Right.
right.
and bam, you've got one.
Right.
You know,
Totally.
like that's with everything there. It's just kind of
No, I mean it's good to hear, and like, yeah, I'm glad you point out that all in all, it wasn't like
yeah. I felt safer there than traveling in
a
Europe.
sketchy
like
experience,
late night walking the streets in some places in like the European countries where. But honestly, it felt safer there than a lot of my traveling in the U.S.
Oh God,
Yeah.
no kidding. Yeah.
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 Well, that's what I hear from a lot of people who've done traveling in like North Africa and the Middle East is like
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to try to hustle you because you've got money.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's just what happens in tourist traps.
They're going to try to get it from you, but they're going to try to talk you out of it.
Yeah.
They're not going to take your wallet.
Yeah,
I really never felt like that.
They're genuinely people who are just trying to make some money, and
Yeah.
they're not trying to hurt anybody. you
Yeah.
know? And like, that's not to say that doesn't happen.
Yes, it does. It does happen, but it's like it's really. I was kind of. I really actually fell in love with the Middle East. I went there to see like Petra, but I fell in love with the country and the era and the people and the cultural differences.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed my time there, and I want to go back. I would actually like to go to Iran, and there's a couple
I've heard
other
so many good
places.
things about Iran.
And it's beautiful. And when I first got to Amman, there was somebody who said to me, "It's like, oh, the people are really good here. They will nobody something to the effect of nobody's gonna do anything bad to you."
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, okay, that's what you'd say if you're going to do something bad. but after being there for a bit, it's like, yeah, I think it's just a lot less so. It's a lot less of that kind of violent crime or that kind of feeling. Now, getting into a car with anybody in Cairo, it's like you're taking your life in your own hand because they drive like fucking. It's insane.
Right.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like people talk about New York drivers or New York cabbies and stuff. It's like nothing. There's no lanes. They have lanes, but they don't care.
Right.
They don't care. They honk at everybody. There's a family of 6 on a motorcycle going 75. I'm not kidding. No, there's like a guy riding. His wife, larger wife, generally riding side saddle.
What?
Riding like this.
No.
With a baby. And
What?
then another kid sitting over here, and they're like flying. And I saw this multiple times.
Whoa.
And a lot of the women would ride, they're in their burqa and they would ride side saddle.
That's terrible.
Wow.
On a motorcycle.
Insane! I have a picture of 4 guys, 4 like teen, 20-ish, on a bike, squeezed all together on a small, but we're not talking even big bikes. These are little bikes.
Right.
And they're going like 75, and I got a picture. It's real, my camera really stilled it, so you don't get the idea of speed. And the guy on the back is checking his phone like this. And it's like, are you fucking... There's no sissy bar. There's nothing. It's like,
Oh my
you fucking
God.
kidding me?
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane.
Wow.
It's
Amazing.
crazy.
Do you still have that photo?
Yeah.
If
I think
you-
it's on my Instagram.
Oh man, if you could send that to us, that
Oh,
would be
Yeah.
We should
Can
have.
we
Yeah.
share some photos
Yeah,
on our
absolutely.
show notes page?
Yeah.
Cool. Right on.
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Oh my god.
Man, dude, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I think we're going to call it because we got a
Yep.
show to get
We got a
to.
show to
Yeah.
get to. I know.
But,
Man, that was so fucking good.
yeah, fucking
Jesus.
cool ass stories, man. And I know you've got a million, so we got to get you back on
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
sooner
It was
than later.
fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming, dude.
It's kind of like, can I remember all this stuff?
Yeah, right? Nah, you did good. You're a natural, man.
Oh yeah, you crushed it, dude.
Yeah,
Cool.
hell yeah.
Cheers.
Killer.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Dude.